Welcome to the Mount Pocono, Westchester, and Ocean City Railroad lines, founded in 1991 by Hank Guckes. It is the result of a lifelong interest in model railroading beginning in childhood. Moving to a home with a basement large enough to accommodate an LBG railroad made his dream become a reality. Over the years, he continued to add to his collection and added features which represented the important places and events in his life. We'll begin with the Upper Darby car barns, which is the maintenance area and shops for the railroad. Oh, here, the Amusement Park. It's difficult to say whether it's the Ocean City saltwater taffy, carousel, and shooting gallery on the boardwalk, or if it represents the Playtown Park, which was near our home in Springfield. There's a Silver Diner, and you could see the Silver Diner when you looked out of the window at Hank's fraternity house. It was right across the street. Drexel Hill was an important part of Hank's life. There was a Waverly Theater there, and Hank made sure when he decorated the theater that he included Zoe and Laney Helmers, his grandchildren, on the theater. In this area we have the Barber Shop, and you look through the window, you can see it's completely furnished, and there is a barber in there. A Beck's Beer Brewery is featured, and along with a train that contains a real can of Beck's beer. And then we come to Bobby's Garage. Cars were always needed to be improved, to be maintained, and there were many cars at Bobby's Garage. We travel on to see a billboard for FG Vote Fine Porks products, and they were famous for Scrapple in the Philadelphia area. This company was founded by Hank's great-grandfather. The Lionel train station is particularly interesting because it was part of his boyhood train set. Interesting, there's so many people waiting at the station for the train to arrive. Henrysville train station is actually a freight station, and there are gas pumps close by, and even a working clock there. A switch tower has an interesting history on the Guckes Railroad. It was one that was once in possession of Hank's brother, and then Albert, and then later in his possession. They went back and forth for a while, and finally it became Hank's when he decorated the interior with the actual figures and the switch poles. And you can see them if you look through the window. We're going along, and there is a something called the Pro Shop. This is actually the Pro Shop for the golf course, which Hank put on his. Golf was very important to Hank, and he included a golf course, well, at least a putting green. And he also, even though it's a great distance, I believe there's a golf cart nearby. And the name on the Pro Shop, rather than just dealing with the fact that pro shops are always part of a golf course, it's special because it has his name on it, because his grandchildren always called him Pro instead of Granddad. There's a church too also on the layout. The church is present because Hank said we can't have my train set complete unless I put a church on for Ida. That's what he later years put a church on the layout. We also have a pond, or it might even be a lake, and there are rowboats on that pond. Going on, we come to a set of stairs, which we travel along, and it takes us up to. These steps take us up to the pro shop. It looks like Santa Claus is in the pro shop, but it really is. Maybe it's Christmas in July. We come to Weaver's Pond, which was the Weaver's Pond was our next door neighbor's pond, and it took up a large part of their property, and they had lots of fish in the pond. Actually, they stocked the fish themselves just to see, and Dave Weaver was Hank's good friend. They often also teased each other because Hank would practice hitting golf balls across the pond, and sometimes they would not make it across and they'd land in the pond. Then we're going to go to the Malvern Station. The Malvern Station is recognizable not just because it has a sign on the station, the front of the station, but also because of the tall steps going up to the station. The parking lot at the Malvern Station is so much below the station on the westbound side that it really was a chore to get to the station. As we go around the curve, we come to the Christmas tree farm. Early on, our family always went to the Christmas tree farm to cut trees. Later, with families in the neighborhood, but later Hank and two of his daughters traveled out there. Finally, just one, they went, and they always picked out something from the shop to bring home to me for Christmas. The red arrow lines were a very important part of Hank's childhood, and because they connected Springfield with Upper Darby or 69th Street. So anytime we wanted to travel anywhere, he would take a red arrow trolley. And Upper Darby, there was a water tower, and the water tower was close to his very early boyhood home. And interesting that this water tower had red arrow painted on it. Every Christmas after the train, the layout was up, Hank always entertained people from the company where he worked, and he invited all the children and families for our train party. And he loved to have the children see the circus train, where the giraffe popped up and other animals, and then finally there was the Christmas train, the Santa Claus train, the Santa Claus train. And when the Santa train went around the layout, then he would say, "Get a candy cane," and you can go back and you can leave. If you notice that there is an airplane on the layout, and it circles around. The children that came to our party could turn it on at the party, and that was kind of a treat for them, he thought. But like to see them get excited when they turned it on. Welcome to the Mount Pocono West. Blah, 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 blah. Oh gosh.
Yes, we did it.